Hey guys, welcome back to AT Gameplay. We are playing Cinderella Phenomenon. I'm sorry if I sound nasally, my allergies are pretty bad right now for some reason. But anyway, we are working on Rod's route, and something about Emmeline, I think getting ready for the ball or something like that. I'm not sure, it's been a while. Anyway, let's get going. I obediently walk over to the fabrics Ophelia wants me to look through. They are apparently samples for the tablecloth that will be used during the ball. Okay, yeah, I was right about the ball. This is going to be a long day. Rod comes immediately to the throne room after his history lesson to start on his dance lessons with Emmeline. I'm only standing here because it is my responsibility to be her personal maid, to watch over her as she practices. I watch as she steps out of rhythm and Rod sighs at her. You're doing it wrong. That's the 10th time. Sorry. Again. They start from the beginning and I'm unable to stifle my own sigh when Emmeline messes up the same step again. This would make the 11th time. I really am terrible at this. Would you rather have the royal dance instructor teach you? He has more experience teaching than I do. Oh, no. I really do want you to teach me, Rod. I'm sorry, but I'm such a slow learner. You were always good at everything. Singing, dancing, cooking. Prince Rod cooks? Yes, Rod does cook. He's very good at it. You didn't have to tell her that, Em. Does it really matter? I love bragging about how talented my little brother is. I see a tinge of pink in Rod's cheeks as he turns away. A tinge? I think that's a little more than a tinge. Is he? Embarrassed? Emmeline looks down at the floor, her smile smaller. I wish I was as talented as you, Rod. I had always thought Emmeline was overly optimistic. She always seemed to bounce back with a smile, no matter how many times I pushed her away. Now, I cannot help but reconsider that thought. Still, seeing her like this only irritates me. Pitying yourself will get you nowhere. Not everyone can be perfect at everything when you first start out. Nope. I remember when Mother gave me similar lessons. She was always such a harsh teacher, and she hated when I showed weakness in front of her. She made me keep practicing until I had perfected what it was she wanted me to do. Failure was never an option. I never had time for self-pity. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, just try harder. Let failure inspire you to do better. Lucette, that was... She's right, Rod. Instead of complaining, I should be working harder. I let out an exasperated sigh and crossed my arms. You always look at your feet, whenever you reach the underarm turn. Instead, focus on counting your steps and let Prince Rod lead you. Worrying too much on the next step is what puts you off rhythm. Emmeline stares at me. Can you dance, Lucette? I can. Why? Wow, that's amazing! There's nothing amazing about my being able to dance. Her praise makes me embarrassed regardless. Maybe I can learn faster seeing someone else do the dance first. What are you talking about? It must be easier to copy the steps if I can have someone perform them first. She turns to me suddenly, eyes bright. Oops. Would you help me? I am meant to assist Emmeline in any way that I can, but dancing with her brother? We are going to refuse. That's what it says to get the good route, so Like I said, I hate doing bad routes. Unless you want to see bad routes, let me know, but as of right now, it's not happening. Even if I do agree, I doubt Rod would even want to dance with me. You cannot learn how to dance by watching someone. You have to practice the steps yourself. But if you need a break, you can just say so, No, really, I find it easier to learn through visuals. Sorry for making you uncomfortable, Lucette. Let's just continue our practice, Rod. Emmeline smiles at me, but it is obvious that she looks more disheartened now. Rod looks at his sister before shaking his head. He turns to walk toward me. Oh, he holds out his hand. Would you dance with me? What? Rod leans closer to me and speaks in a low voice. Play along. This is just for Emmeline. He's actually curious about your dancing, princess. Oh, Sebi called him out. I am surprised when Sebi suddenly whispers to me. I can tell it is Sebi by the change in the pitch of voice. Oops. Sorry, Rod. Rod glares at Sebi before looking at me again. Well? I shift my gaze to Emmeline, who is practically beaming. I sigh and take Rod's hand. I know Emmeline does not like treating me as a maid, but this is a little too much. Fine. Just this once. Oh, look at that. How cute. Anyway, I like his eye color. It's nice. Anyway, I put my hand on his shoulder, and he places his hand on the small of my back. Rod looks at me, but quickly averts his gaze. Oop, he's sweating. Is something wrong? I don't think I would ever have to dance with you is all. I don't know why that sounded weird, but that's okay. Neither did I. Rod looks at me again. This time, he has an uncomfortable scowl on his face. He's not the only one uncomfortable. I'm just, leaving it at that. If I mess up with the sentence, oh well. We both start dancing, and I mentally start counting the steps. It has been a long time since I last danced with anyone, but the steps come to me naturally. The dance is rather simple. While Rod and I move stiffly, I cannot help but notice his careful footwork. I realize that Rod really is a pretty decent dancer. Of course, I would never openly admit that. When we stop, I hear Emmeline clapping her hands as she looks at the both of us in awe. You really are a good dancer. Thank you so much for showing me the steps. Now I know for sure what to do during that part. I just shrug at her before stepping back into the corner. Emmeline takes her position in front of Rod once more. This time she has a bright smile on her face. I cannot believe something as simple as that has made her so happy. At the end of the day, Emmeline has managed to do the steps correctly. She tells me many times how grateful she is for the help. After practice, I return to my room and retire to bed. I think about how happy Emmeline was. How can such small things make a person so happy? You stepped out of rhythm again, Lucette. But, Mother, this is really hard. A princess never complains. You must perfect this waltz by tomorrow. Otherwise, I will not allow you to play with your dolls for the day. But if you have time for objections, you have time to push yourself harder. Now once again from the top. Oh, I like that picture. The following days are uneventful. Emmeline continues her dance lessons with Rod. Her steps are still far from perfect, but I can tell that she has improved since my demonstration with Rod. Meanwhile, Rod still chooses to ignore me most of the time, though I have noticed that he is less cold than usual. At least he does not snap at me for no good reason anymore. Though Delora is no longer assisting me, she insists on staying in my room more often. She says that there is something important she wants to investigate, and I cannot even guess what it might be. I prefer not having her around anyway. Her constant chattering makes it difficult to focus on anything. Right now, I'm still trying to figure out how I can achieve my first good deed. Almost 3 months have passed since I was first cursed, but I have yet to complete my first good deed. These are my thoughts as I head back to my sleeping quarters after dinner that night. Emmeline excused me long ago, insisting that I go on to my own room before she went to hers. I'm walking down the hallway when I notice Rod heading down a familiar path. I follow after him. Are you going to the march-in? Oop. Apparently he didn't expect us to see him. Rod jumps and turns around. The surprise in his face quickly fades into annoyance. Don't do that again. And no, not today. Since I came here, I found out that Rod occasionally sneaks out of the palace at night through the secret passageway to go to the march-in. Even now, I'm still confused as to why he goes there. He said before that he had given up on breaking his curse, which makes me wonder why he still visits. It also makes me wonder why he would refuse to break his curse in the first place. Is he okay being the way he is, or is his curse just really difficult to break? Well, I'm going to let this go here. Well, yeah, leave it here. I don't know. Like I said, my allergies are just like, and it's making me feel like crap. Anyway, I hope you enjoy and see you in the next video. Bye!